Hey, how's everybody doing? Thanks for joining me again for this other video I decided to make. Get a lot of questions about rentals and kind of how they can be a tax shelter or other things like that, and also kind of basically just how they flow into your 1040. I have another video about how to read a 1040, and so I would encourage maybe watching that one first, but this one's going to be kind of basic, so I won't go into too much detail on that, but just kind of showing how the rental works and how it flows into your income on your 1040, and that way you can kind of determine maybe rentals will work for you or maybe not, or just really what happens at the end of the day. So over here on the left, I established 3 different rentals here with some basic information. All of them obviously with made up numbers, and then just kind of to show a demonstration of how it all works together. So each rental kind of works the same. You got to kind of think of each one with as its own business and with its own net income and expenses and everything like that. So for instance, the first one, let's say you made $1,000 for the year. This is obviously much lower than you would make, but just to kind of give an example, just made up numbers here. But let's say you made $1,000 for the first year, and then your expenses included all of those items down below: insurance, utilities, property taxes, management fees, depreciation. I also have another video on depreciation as well that you should check out. That would kind of help describe that a little bit if you're unsure on what that is. So for the rental one, you can see the total expenses are $1,550 with a net income of, or I guess a net loss of $550. Rental 2 is $2,000 for the year in rent, and then total expenses are $2,450 with a net loss of $450. Rental 3, you're making $3,000 a year, and the total expenses are $1,500. Obviously you're making more income on that one, so your net income there is $1,500. Moving on from there, you can see that the total net income for all 3 of your rentals is $500. So even though you made a lot more on rental 3, you take the net of all 3 of them for the $500, and that's what flows through to your tax return. So what happens is you take all this information. As a tax preparer, we would take all this information and input it into the system, which would then flow onto your Schedule E, and I have that over here on the right side. You can see Schedule E from your 1040. This includes income or loss from rental, real estate, and royalties. So we're only going to focus on the rentals right now. But as you can see, as we work our way down here, you're able to put in 3 different rentals, which I did just to kind of make it correlate a little better here. But so as you go down, box 1A, you're going to include the address for each one, and then 1B is the type of property, and you can kind of it tells you to look at the list of properties right here. And then also this is kind of assuming that these rentals were for the full year, so you'd put 365 days. It's just making sure that you're not using too many personal days on the rental. So going down, you can see the income portion here. Line 3 is the rents received, and each of these numbers line up with the spreadsheet over here on the left. So feel free to take a look there. But we'll just we'll go through one just to kind of show how things are flowing, but obviously it's the same for all 3 of them. So for rental 1, box 3 has $1,000 in rental income, and then as you move down, you can see this is the expense area down here, lines 5 through 20. And so insurance is $200, management fee is $250, taxes are $600. Utilities are $150, and depreciation is $350, and your total expenses are $1,550 and a net loss of $550, as we have over on the spreadsheet. Obviously, I only picked 5 different types of expenses that you might have. It's possible you would have, on obviously likely that you would have much more. So as you have a rental, you're going to have advertising for that rental. You might have a car associated with it that you would add in as line 6, and that's a whole other training in and of itself. But then you'd have cleaning and maintenance, which I'm sure you'd have, commissions, other legal issues or other legal fees. Let's say you have some kind of lawsuit related to a rental, then you include that in there for your professional fees. Also, tax preparation fees would go in there as well. Obviously, your accountant's going to do a lot of this, but it's also just good to know what exactly is going on, so maybe to help them out, so you know what to give them ahead of time. But then also, and most likely, you're going to have this box 12 here for mortgage interest paid, because I doubt you're going to have a bunch of houses paid off that you're renting. That's the goal, but obviously not reality for just starting out. So then, obviously, you're going to have repairs and other interest and supplies and other things like that. So keep that in mind if you do have a rental. It's also good to maybe print Schedule E, and that way you can kind of have it, and so keep it in the back of your mind. Oh yeah, what can I deduct on my rental to make sure that I'm getting the best tax liability that I can possibly get. This is why it's treated as a tax shelter, because as you can see, you may have made $1,000, but these other items kind of came out of your expenses throughout the year, so it doesn't really seem like you lost it. You can also include a bunch of repairs and everything in there to potentially have your net loss larger, which would then potentially decrease your total tax liability. Obviously, only include things that you actually paid, because if you don't, then you could potentially be audited, and you would likely have to pay additional tax and fees and penalties. So definitely just deduct the things that you can, but what I'm saying is a tax shelter can be used because it's helpful in order to reduce your tax liability overall. So then as you go down, you can see same thing as a spreadsheet. Line 21 has the net loss and income for each of these. And then down here in line 23, it's talking about just summarizing all of that in case you had additional information. Also, one thing I want to point out is that this form has 3 properties, but it's also possible to have 20. So you'd have 20 divided by 3, and then you get however many forms of this that you would need to attach to your tax return. So that's where maybe these boxes down here would be more prevalent. But then your total income, and as you can see down here, line 26 is $500. As I mentioned over here, your net income for all of them is $500. So we take that number, that $500, it would flow over to your Schedule 1, which is right here, and it's going to come in on line 5, as you can see, rental real estate royalties. This is just another form that kind of all flows together with your 1040. It was initially created, I believe, to simplify your 1040 form a little bit, to make it a little more readable, I guess. But as you can see here, you're going to have also, if you have business income and other gains and losses, farm income, anything like that's going to go in here. I won't touch on anything else in here, but just kind of for future reference. But as you can see, $500, you need to attach Schedule E, which we've already completed. And then this $500 would then flow, as you can see, line 26 goes down to line 26. It would include a bunch of other things as well. But then you take that $500 and then finally end up here. Here's your 1040, as you can see up here. And as you scroll down to line 10, adjustments to income from Schedule 1, which was that other one that we were just looking at, line 26, $500. So this would be included in with up here your total wages, other taxes, other wages that you may have received, pensions, annuities, dividends, all that stuff. So it's kind of just flows in all together to total out your total tax liability. And like I said, If you have other questions on what exactly is going on with your 1040, take a look at my other video. If you have questions about what depreciation is, take a look at my other video. If you're still trying to figure out what a W-2 is, take a look at my other video. I have other videos similar to that. I think that's really all I wanted to cover here. So thanks for tuning in. Please, leave comments with questions. I'll do my best to answer them, or comment any other videos that you'd like me to go over. Basic or complicated, trying to just create a series of financial videos that help people kind of understand exactly what's going on in the world of finance. So if you like this video, please like it, subscribe to my channel, and thanks a lot. See you soon.